Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back, everybody. This situation afflicts many of us, mostly a little bit older, but doesn't have to be. I'm talking about joint pain within your hands, arthritis, other carpal tunnel syndrome. All those things can be challenging when you're trying to just do your day, type, cook, do whatever. Acupuncture can truly support that, alleviate the pain. How does it do it? We're going to find out. She is an expert in that, our professional of the year. She's in New York City and not only does acupuncture, but also Chinese medicine, herbals, and so much more. Dr. Kelly joins us once again today. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Steve. How are you doing?
Very well, very well. Excited to learn about this. In the times that we've talked about acupuncture, we've never really talked about things like arthritis and how it supports. What's happening when somebody goes to see you? They say, they get some pain in their hands, not really sure what it is, and maybe at that point, or maybe they do know it's diagnosed as arthritis. What happens from there?
So actually, recently I have a new patient. So she came in, she said, my ring finger is swollen and painful. I couldn't even put the ring on. So can you help me, Dr. Kelly? I said, yeah. So I checked her tongue, checked her pulse. So feel she has some dampness and coldness in her body. The root reason can be like spleen deficiency or even spleen yang deficiency. So how I treated her is I think I did both cupping and acupuncture. So cupping is on the back. So usually in my office, I do fair cupping. So you light the fair, you put in the cup, and then you suck on the body. So that can get rid of the coldness and dampness from the body, and it's very effective. I have been using for other patients, like for example, people coughing, just caught a common cold. Usually the trigger is the cold. So I did that on this patient. Then I also did acupuncture. So I put some needle just wherever the finger swollen. And she reported to me, said, next day she can put her ring back. So that is an evidence to show acupuncture cupping can help about arthritis.
Wow. Now, you've mentioned cupping before, and typically we used to see celebrities doing it. That's when it got popular, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, on the back. So I want to make sure I'm understanding this. You would do cupping to support somebody with arthritis? Yes,
because although it's only showing up on her finger, but actually her whole body has the dampness. That's why Chinese medicine doctor usually treat the root. That's why I not only just put needles on her finger, I also put needles all over her body to support the spleen, make the spleen stronger. It doesn't matter, has to be the finger, it can be the toe. I have patients coming in with a toe pain. So similar situation. It's because they have dampness in their body. So what we do, we get rid of that dampness. We transform the dampness by acupuncture or by cupping. In that way, arthritis is going to be gone.
So when somebody says it's damp out and my joints are hurting me, it's real.
Exactly, right? That makes sense. It's so much sense. Some people are going to say, oh my God, my joint feels so much pain. It's going to be raining. And
Wow. Okay. I always, half of that, when people would say that, I would think that, it's just in their head. They're just, it's just coincidence that it's rainy out or damp out and now they're feeling some pain. All right. We learned something here. When you treat the root cause with cupping and if somebody has arthritis in their hands or joint pain in their hands, are you cupping on their back?
Yes, because on the back, we have a lot of UB urinary bladder channel.
Huh.
A lot of points on the back of the UB channel, actually, we can access to the organ, like to the spleen, to the stomach, even to the heart, liver, gallbladder. That's why when we do cupping, we usually do on the back because we can treat the organ actually.
So you mentioned hot and cold, and you've talked about that before. Just so we all understand it, and even before you and I met, I've heard that before, that some of us run hot, some of us run cold. Can you explain what that means?
For example, people who over like women, especially who over 50, usually they have a thing kind of called hot flash.
Oh,
So
okay.
So usually that's actually the reason is because we call it yin deficiency. You know, the yang and the yin, they should be anchor each other. They should be like similar level. But when your yang decrease, your yin kind of like arise. So, or when your yin decrease, your yang kind of like arise, then you're going to have the symptom. So that's why people can feel like hot flash, like, oh my God, I feel so hot, especially in the afternoon or in the evening when they sleep. Because afternoon, we kind of like going down gradually to the yin time, especially at night. That's why this kind of group of people, when they have yin deficiency, they feel more hot because they're young, kind of like over the yin. It's not really the yang is too much. Actually, it's because the yin decreased.
Is it somebody actually feeling warm and cold? Do they actually truly feel the temperature?
Yes, actually, if you ask this group of people, they do feel like in the evening, they do feel hot. They even sweat.
Okay.
But funny enough, in the daytime, they may feel cold. So that's exactly what you said. Like they literally feel temperature-wise cold or hot.
Yes, I felt it before. It could be a comfortable temperature, but I feel like just chilled. I guess that's the best description. And sometimes when that does present, I think to myself, am I getting sick? Why am I feeling this way? It's not really that cold in the room, but I'm feeling, just kind of chilled. So it seems like it's, I guess, the best description of that, an imbalance that's going on.
Yes, you are absolutely right because the Chinese medicine always talk about the balance, right? So the yin and yang always should be kind of like anchor each other. They should be balanced. But when we are out of balance, then either the yang kind of like a little bit bigger or the yin a little bit bigger. Then we are off balance. You may feel cold or hot.
And as a practitioner, how do you truly determine that? I believe one of the ways you mentioned before is looking at somebody's tongue. Is that right?
Yes. So if the tongue color is kind of like pale, usually that is a sign of like yang deficiency. If the tongue is like very red, like a crimson red, like a wine, that is usually a sign of like too hot, too much heat in their body.
So let's connect that to arthritis. Because that's what we're talking about today. Somebody has some joint pain in their hand. How does that connect or correlate to the feeling of their body running hot and cold?
So actually this patient, when I look at her tongue actually has the teeth mark on the edge. So usually that is a sign of spleen qi deficiency or spleen yang deficiency because the spleen is not strong enough. So the spleen's function is TNT transform and transport. So transport the fluid in your body and nutrient into everywhere in your body, and transform. So when we eat something, the spleen kind of like transform to the nutrient our body can use. But if we have spleen qi deficiency or spleen yang deficiency, our spleen cannot do that job. We will have like fluids build up in our body or dampness build up in our body. That's why a lot of people have the arthritis. So they have the swelling, right? Like kind of like fluids build up in their joints.
Wow. Wow. So if somebody were to look in the mirror and look at their tongue and the edges of it are serrated as if there's like teeth marks. It's not real teeth marks. It just appears to be that way. They could have a deficiency within their spleen. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And especially this group of people, if you ask them, do you have bloating or gassing after eat? Most of the cases they will say, yeah, after eat I feel bloated. You know,
Wow.
with gassing, it's very uncomfortable because the spleen just cannot do the job. That's why the food kind of like just stuck over there in their body. They feel like kind of like pain even.
So we just went into another territory here in terms of how this can support. So if that's the situation, first of all, before we scare anybody, it's not that they need to be alarmed by this, correct? It's just a sign that there's a little deficiency because some people might look in the mirror and see their tongue and be okay, freak out for a moment, right? It's a deficiency. Something's out of balance, right?
Yes. So in Chinese medicine, we don't really have the scary term like in the Western medicine, right? They have cancer, they have this and that. In Chinese medicine, we just say you're off balance, right? You have internal cold, or you have internal heat, or you have dampness. So the Chinese medicine, this term is like more mild. People usually don't feel scared, so we always kind of like we can treat you. It's not like in Western medicine term. It's kind of like if you got something, it's kind of like almost you don't have much time left. But in Chinese medicine, we just put you back to balance. In that way, doesn't matter what kind of problem you have, as long as we can put you back to balance, you will feel better. You will feel healthy again.
So let's say that somebody comes to you, they have some joint pain in their hands. You identify the root cause. It looks like there could be an imbalance in their spleen. That's part of the situation. They do present with gassiness and bloating, as you said. So just by going in to talk to you about their joint problem, you could also at the same time alleviate any of the bloating and gassiness that they've been having as well. Am I hearing that right?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. And it's all somewhat connected. It's not separate things that are going on.
Exactly. Everything is connected. That's all about the Chinese medicine. We never say, oh, it's only about your spleen. It's only about your stomach. Everything is connected. We have 5 elements, right? All the 5 elements, they work together. You cannot have one element is too strong. For example, we have fire, we have earth, we have metal, we have water, we have wood, right? They have also their coordinate organs, like, we have heart, we have stomach, spleen, we have lung, large intestine, we have UB, we have kidney, we have liver, we have gallbladder, right? If your liver is too strong, that's usually actually a lot of people happen to in this way. It's not really strong actually. It's like liver qi is so stagnant. They don't feel hungry. They cannot even eat, or they cannot even like digest. We call it liver overact on earth, or would overact on earth. So when you're angry, right? When you have a very bad mood, you don't feel you want to eat.
Wow. This is an eye-opener for many of us because we might have these different situations, pain here, discomfort there, maybe pain there, over there. And it's all connected. And just by a visit to you or few to get acupuncture and maybe some other Chinese medicine remedies, you could take care of all of that and somebody could feel great. I never knew that they were all connected or could be.
Actually, yesterday, there's a new patient from New Jersey, actually. She came in. What she wanted me to treat her is she has some like neck pain, like back pain, and she also wanted me to help her, to prepare to have a baby. So, usually the back pain, neck pain is from people sitting in front of a desk, work on computer too much.
Mm-hmm.
And that tension, can make you feel very uncomfortable, can give you like bad mood, right? Especially if you just sit there for a long time, don't even move. That can also give you liver qi stagnation. So I treated her. I put some needles like on the neck, and I put some needles, to soothe the liver qi. And she got up. She said, "Oh, Dr. Kelly, I feel so much better." So just one treatment. So she's very happy. She said, I'm going to come back next week,
Wow.
just continue treat.
Amazing. Truly amazing how, many of us shy away from acupuncture because of the needles and we're afraid of it. And I get that. I was there at one point. But once you realize how this can support you in so many different ways, and this is not something that was just discovered last year, this has been around for centuries and supporting people. Dr. Kelly, can you share any other insight on when somebody's having joint pain within their hands, wrists?
Um, yes, actually, I have another patient. Now her baby is born, but before her baby born, actually she experienced the carpal tunnel syndrome, so severe pain, because when women get pregnant, usually it's kind of like have some extra fluid built up. That's why, usually this group of people have like edema on their legs or even on their hands. So I did a similar thing. I put some needles, around the wrist. So her swelling, her pain, got relieved. She's very happy.
Wow.
Now she had very healthy baby son.
Wow. Um, and no other treatment, just some acupuncture needles?
Yeah, because she by that time she was pregnant, so I'm very careful. Because I couldn't do cupping on her, but I did acupuncture on her wrist. I also have something, she can just kind of like a patch. It's all herbal, so she can put on her wrist when she couldn't come in to see me. That's also helped her a lot.
Wow. Okay, so I wasn't even aware of that. I'm aware of topicals like CBD and things like that, but so this was an herbal remedy that she put on her wrist that gave her comfort.
Yes, yes. Actually, she even gave it to her mom. Her mom has some low back pain, but her mom couldn't come in, very often. So she also like helped her mom. So she bought the whole box of the patch, and she said it's very helpful.
Okay, now I get it. It was a patch that she used.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, there's so much out there that we don't even know about, and many of us are walking around with pain and discomfort and not realizing that the answer is fairly simple. It's not involving drugs and medication that could have side effects. And I think the most important part of all of this is that it's natural. It's not, some synthetic situation, and it's treating the root cause. When you go to the doctor, almost always they throw you a script and it's to take care of the symptoms. You're going to the root cause. For example, have wrist pain. You're going to somebody's back and working on that, potentially, depending on the situation. Wow, amazing. What about, while we're talking about joint pain and things like that, let's go further up the arm. Many people have rotator cuff issues. What are your thoughts on that?
So actually, it's similar, right? In Chinese medicine, we say if you have pain, means you have some blockage, right? Something stuck over there. That's why the blood cannot go through. That's why you feel the pain. So you feel the pain. I just use the needle, just break down the blockage. Then your blood can flow, your qi can go, then you don't feel pain anymore. So it doesn't really matter you have neck pain or shoulder pain or, or finger pain. So basically, whatever you feel the pain is something is like accumulated over there, something like stuck over there. So acupuncture just go there to make it, move.
Is it many times when we feel pain, is it some kind of blockage? And that could be from a muscle, that could be from a ligament that is blocking the flow of blood. Mostly, is that what's going on with pain?
Yes, Steve, you're right. That's why acupuncture is so powerful.
Wow.
Like Sunday, there's a new patient. He's only 26, very young, and also he goes to gym, has muscle, but he got a lower back pain. So first I let him face down. I used acupuncture, treated him. After he got up, I said, "How do you feel?" He said, "I kind of still feel a little bit sore here." I said, "Okay, I usually don't let the patient get out of the door if they don't feel better."
You don't let them out.
I don't let them out until they feel better.
Until you do your job. Interesting. Even with physical therapy, I heard recently from somebody who is a big proponent of natural healing, acupuncture and such. And he said that when somebody has an issue, the first thing that most primary care doctors say is, yeah, just go to physical therapy. And his feeling is, you have pain. Why are you stretching your muscle? And you're not really getting to the cause. Like you said, there's more going on there, and physical therapy might not be the right answer for many of these challenges.
Yeah, actually, so go back to the 26-year-old patient.
Mm-hmm.
So I let him sit on the table, not lying down. I use a longer needle. So I just put the needle wherever, the pinpoint, because I use a longer needle. So the needle really reached to wherever the blockage is. So after that, he felt so much better.
Wow.
Oh my God. Before, his shoulder even not even, like one shoulder is higher, one shoulder is lower because of the pain. After I did that, he said, I feel no pain anymore. So his shoulder came back to even. He's very happy. Oh, Dr. Kelly, I have a friend. He has the ankle pain. Do you think you can help him? I said, yeah. So we treat all the pain. Doesn't matter where the pain is, ankle, or wrist, or shoulder, or neck. So bring him in.
Amazing. Truly amazing. And no side effects. Acupuncture, right?
Yes, that's why actually there are more and more people realize this. They know acupuncture can treat the whole body, not only just for the pain, right? You come in for the pain, actually you get much healthier. Like I mentioned the other patient with the 70 years old one, he's pretty healthy. In general, he has no problem, but he still coming in once a week just to keep him in balance. Because every day, we go outside, we work, we may have some liberty stagnation from our boss yelling at us, or from a crazy person in the subway or on the street, shout to us, right? So we need to come back to balance every day. That's why I suggest people come in, get treatment regularly. Don't just get one, then, oh, I'm done. So just, so in that way, you will always be balanced. If you are in balance, you're not afraid of people sneezing or coughing around you. Like I have patients coming coughing, sneezing. I never really get affected. I'm pretty healthy because I'm in balance.
Wow. Learned a lot today. Have to tell you, Kelly, thank you. A lot of this came clear. And especially, issues of pain that we have and it being a blockage and blocking the flow of blood, and a lot discovered here today. How do we connect with you? I know you're in New York City. You can do some things virtually, whether it comes to herbals, certainly acupuncture. It's on site in New York City. What's your website, Kelly?
It's Kelly121acupuncture.com. And they can also call me at 347-885-1865.
Wonderful talking with you today. Thank you for all the insights of holistic healing with things that affect us all the time. And again, my mind blown a little bit here, knowing that if you have multiple issues, they can be very, very often connected and taken care of with Chinese medicine. Thanks again for being here. We'll catch up next time.
Thank you, Steve.
Appreciate it. We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, you know? I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.